Good morning, students. In the last class, we have started animal hormones, that is the endocrine system, and the important glands which are included in our syllabus. In that section, we had left these four, number 1, 2, 3, 4 glands, like pineal gland, hypothalamus, testis and ovary. In the last week we had left these 4 glands, and that's why today we shall discuss about all this. And the second important point in today's lesson we should cover, that is the feedback mechanism. It is an unique feature of the hormonal system or the hormones in our body. That means there is a monitoring, and that feedback mechanism means after monitoring what are the deficiency in the body for a particular hormone, that will be detected by the stimulated cells, and that later on that will be secreted and that will compensate. In case of the insulin, when there is a rise of sugar level in the blood, that will be detected by the pancreas, the cells which are responsible for the synthesis of insulin, and after detection they start to secrete more and more insulin. That's why the sugar level once again may be reduced or lower down. So this is the feedback mechanism. And the third important point we will discuss today, that is the differences between nervous system and hormonal control. And fourth number point, that is the coordination in plants, like that of the animal. Plants, how coordination in plants takes place. As we well know that there is any nervous system in the plant body. We will look what happened in that cases, and in the last part of today's lesson we will discuss the phytohormones, that means the plant hormones. That means the plant hormones, important plant hormones, which are number 1 auxin, number 2 gibberellin, number 3 cytokinins, arginins or abscisic acid. All these will be discussed today, and that's why now we have to start here from the pineal gland. In the last week you have seen that how we will study about the gland, the name of the gland, its location, its function. Here you are seeing here the testis and ovary. It is the primary sex organ of the body in the male, and it is in the female, but it also acts as a endocrine gland, and there is a secretion of testosterone, the important male sex hormones released by testis, and the ovary released or secretes like the estrogen, progesterone and relaxin, and we will see about their functions and important features. Here is a description, short description of 2 glands which we had left in the last week. Number 1 here, pineal gland. Its location is over the epithalamus. The name of the hormone released by this gland is melatonin. What is its important functions? It controls mood, sleep and regulate sexual cycle. This is the short description of this gland and its hormone. Now the next one is the hypothalamus. It is located at the lower side of diencephalon. And what is the name of the hormone secreted by this gland? The name of the hormone secreted by this gland is known as releasing hormones, or it is also known as releasing factors. What is its function? It regulates the secretion of hormones from the anterior lobe of pituitary. And this is the descriptions of the 2. And now 2 more hormones which we had, 2 more glands we had left in the last week, that also giving here notes upon that 2 important glands, that is the testis and ovary. Here the two important glands. Actually, it is the primary sex organ of the female. One pair of testes present in the male, that is the primary sex organs of the male. It is situated outside the body in a special scrotal sacs or pouch between the two legs, and the hormone which is secreted by this gland is known as testosterone. The testosterone is the hormone which is secreted from this gland. That means this gland acts also as a primary sex organ and glands also. Now look here, the function. Control normal growth of testis. What is the primary functions of the testis? The primary functions of the testis is the formation of the male germ cell, that is the male gamete sperm. That means control movement of growth, normal growth of testis, and the other male genital organs, that other parts which are associated with the reproductive system of male, that will also grow and develop, and that will be regulated by the testosterone. That is a very comprehensive function. Now to regulate, second important function, to regulate the development of secondary sexual characteristics at puberty, when there is attainment of puberty, when there is a maturation of the testis and there is a formation of the sperm, the other different body structure will be changed due to certain secondary sexual characteristic features, and that will be controlled by this hormone. In both male and female, there are some secondary sexual characteristics features that will be regulated. In the second important, ovaries, it is also one pair and it is present in female. May you write the location here, in abdomen, just behind and outer to the kidneys in female. There are three hormones which are released, which are secreted from this gland. What are the name of these three hormones? Number one, estrogen. Oestrogen is also, it's called oestrogen. The last week I have also told you oestrogen. The second one is the progesterone, and the third one is the relaxin. In this regard, in the regard of their functions, it is also related with the same function as it is here in the case of the testosterone, that is the normal growth of the ovaries. That means it initiate or regulate the formation of the ova or the female gamete, and the secondary sexual characteristic features also regulated by this hormone. And this is mainly related with the fixation of fetus in the placenta and the development of the mammary gland, and it is related with the regulations of the pelvic ligament and the cervix during the childbirth. So there are some important functions also for all these hormones in regard to the sex and the secondary sexual characteristic features. In they mainly related with the regulations of the formation of the male and female gamete. They related with the regulate the secondary sexual characteristic features in both male and female, as by the testosterone in the male and by the estrogens in the female. And there are some other specific functions related with the reproduction also involved. The functions which we have discussed are here written. It is for your making notes here. Estrogen and the progesterone and the relaxin. What are the important functions? I have written already. You may write down it. And after this, there are two important points. In the starting I have told you that today we will discuss all those portions which we had left in the last week, and that is why we are now come to the next part of today's lesson, that is the feedback mechanism, and the third or last important part of the related with the endocrine system, that is the hormonal control. That means the endocrine system and the nervous system, how they differ with each other. Here look how the feedback mechanism work. It refers to, that means feedback mechanism refers to monitoring or supervision of a process, as we know that hormones should be secreted in precise quantity. If its secretion is appropriate manner, that means what are the requirement of the body, that optimum amount will be released, then it will be okay for the body. If their secretion more than the requirement, that is the over secretion or hyper secretion, are less than the requirement, there will be a harmful effect. Over secretion has a harmful effect on our body, hence it is necessary that hormone must be secreted in our body in precise amounts essential for the normal functioning of the body. This is regulated by a feedback mechanism which is inbuilt in our body. For example, if sugar level in the blood rises, it is detected by the cells of pancreas, which responds by producing more insulin. On the contrary, if the blood sugar level falls to a certain level, the secretion of insulin is reduced accordingly. This is the feedback mechanism. Here is differences between the nervous coordination and endocrine coordination in the animal's body. Here is the features. Origin of a stimulus, where it will be, from where it will be originated, that is when any message, any stimulus pass to the body or applied to the body, there is some specific organs present in the body of the animals, that is known as the receptor or the receptor part. And here there instead of that, there are glands present. There is a gland present, or the gland may be a group of cells also. Nature of a stimulus, nervous impulse, and it is chemical substances. Now, mode of transmission, it is transmitted as electrochemical signals, and that is the hormone transmitted as chemical messengers. And path of transmission through nerve fibers, and it diffused after secreting from the glands, endocrine gland, it is diffused directly to the blood, that means through blood stream. Receptor, which part will be affected after the signal is over and the message will be completed, and finally the message will be over and the reaction, the responses will be instructed with the help of the spinal cord and the brain, that will be the effector, the muscles or the gland. And here there is a specific target organs, and secretion at a particular place, and the target organs are the other place, site remote from the place of synthesis. And now the response, immediate, short-lived, it is usually slow and long lasting. And the speed of transmission, it is rapid, it is relatively slow. In this way, we have today completed chemical coordination in body with the help of the endocrine system that developed in the body with the different types of glands and their important hormones, how they control and regulate the physiological activities and the growth, and how we have seen when there is any deficiency, a precise amount, a quantity required. If there is a deficiency, then there will be problem, there will be trouble. If there will be over secretion, at that time also there will be trouble. So we have seen a lot of things in regard to the endocrine system that is parallel to the nervous system in the body. That will be also a communication or a coordination system in the body. Now, after this, we will start coordination in plants. The today's lesson second part, we have entered in the second part of today's lesson, that is the coordination in plants. Students, in the earlier part, we have seen how the nervous system in the multicellular animal's body in a well organized manner communicate the different stimulus in the form of electrochemical, and how responses, and that responses how communicate to the with the help of the network of the nerve fibers, right now from the receptor to the effector, and with the help of the CNS, central nervous system, the decision will be taken there. If there will be quick, autonomous, spontaneous, then it will be decided by the spinal cord itself. And if the decision will be for the analysis and that will be communicated to the brain, and then after it will be decided. Anyway, it means, and in the animal body also there will be communication system, another communication system, that is the hormonal system. But in case of the plant, it is unfortunate that there is no nervous system, there is no muscular tissue for responses, like in the contractile tissue is present in the animal's body. And when the effector organs respond to a stimulus with the help of with the instructions of the spinal cord or the brain, at that time the main role is the effector's organ, and that will helpful by the muscular tissues. Such type of muscular tissues are also not present in the case of the plant. But here is also a chemical system present that coordinate the different parts of the plant body. Why? As because by ability, it is the coordination means it is the ability to use different parts of the plant together smoothly and efficiently. But how? How the different parts of the plant will be communicated, and how that different parts of the plant to be coordinated, एक दूसरे से माने किस तरह से तालमेल रहेगा सारे प्लांट्स के पार्ट में, एक सिस्टम यहाँ भी काम कर रहा है. A system is also, and that is the chemical system. That is the chemical system. And this chemical system means, what does it mean? It means plant hormones, and that is the phytohormones. Plant hormones is also known as phytohormone. Now, there is some here, whatever may be the functions you have seen in case of the animal hormone, and what are the different aspects of the animal hormones, like there are some specific glands, the glands and the different parts of the gland, and from the different parts are the different lobes, are different regions of the gland. There is a secretions of the different types of hormones, and that hormones may have the several functions here also. But basically, plant hormones or the phytohormones play a greater role in the regulation of the growth. In the regulation of the growth. That is why plant hormone is also known as growth regulator. It is growth promoter, but in the sense of growth promoter, when we tell growth promoter, or if we tell the growth controlling factors, all of these terminologies which are used to signify the plant hormone, that means the growth regulator, growth promoter, growth controlling factors. But it is better the most suitable terminology is used here, that is the growth regulator, as because there are some hormones which regulate the growth of the stem, of the root, or the elongations of the stem or root, or the may retard the dwarfism in the plant. But there is a one hormone, a specific hormone, abscisic acid, that retarded growth, that inhibits the growth. That is why it is better to say regulator, growth regulator. So here there is a lot of functions besides growth, and the other physiological activities are also affected and regulated by the plant hormones or the phytohormones. Here there is a short description for you. They are responsible for the control and coordination of plants. There are different types of hormones which affect the growth and physiological activities. Phytohormones are chemical compounds which are released by a group of cells or by a group of tissue or a particular tissue. These hormones diffused around the plant cells, they have a role to play in the, what are their important and vital role, just I have mentioned here. And when we separately look about the functions and study about the functions of the auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, abscisic acid, then that time we will specifically see what are the important functions of each and every hormone. Here there is a sum total of the functions, that means the a role of the phytohormones, a general role of the phytohormones are here mentioned. A cell division, cell differentiation, cell enlargement, germination, fruit growth, falling of leaves, ripening of fruits, opening and closing of stomata, etc., etc., etc. So these are the some specific functions related with the phytohormones. Now, what are the phytohormones included in class 10 syllabus? That is may I write here those name of the hormones. Number 1, auxins, this one very important, and number 2, gibberellin, and number 3, cytokinins or kinins, and number 4, abscisic acid, in the short form ABA. So these are the 4 different hormones. Here in the case of the plant hormone also, there are some specific places. That specific places means the regions where the places where from the secreted, the place of secretion here also, place of secretion, and the place of actions. That means the place of actions along with their functions. So in all these 4 hormones, you may see one basic functions. But before that, I would like to share that first regarding the regarding the phytohormones, or may also auxin, reported by Charles Darwin and his son Francis Darwin in 1880. They were working, both father and his son, Charles Darwin and his son Francis Darwin, both were working on the phototropism. That means the phototropic movement in the plant, and at that time they have found that there will be some affecting factors present in the plant body, that is some controlling factors are present in the plant body that can control that phototropic movement or mechanism. But in 19 short descriptions of all the 3 hormones which are very important in regard to the regulation of the growth and other physiological activities. Like number 1, auxins, site of synthesis, apex of root and stem or the shoot. Apex means tips, it is the uppermost part, tips, and promotes cell enlargement and cell differentiation in plants. It promotes fruit growth. Auxin hormone controls plant responses to light and gravity. It is very important part. Tropic movement, when we will study about the movement process in the plant with the help of the 2 different types of movement, that is the tropical movement and the nastic movement. At that time we will see the role of auxins, how they play a greater role in the tropic movement, that is the light, that is phototropic, and the gravity, that means the geotropic. That means in both the cases we may see the role of the auxins. And gibberellins, it is the second important hormone, site of synthesis, matured seeds, germinating seedlings, immature leaves, root tips, etc. And the function promotes cell enlargement and cell differentiation. It can also enhance or inhibit the dwarfism in plant. Promotes cell enlargement and cell differentiation, help in breaking dormancy. It is very important part and important functions which is associated with the gibberellins. And buds, breaking of dormancy in seeds and buds, promotes seed germination and flowering. Now the last is the third important hormone, that is the cytokinins or kinins, germinated seeds, the places for synthesis, germinated seeds, buds. Function promotes cell division, regulate opening of stomata and delay aging in leaves, promote fruit growth. So here are some short descriptions of the 3 hormones and their functions. Last one, that is the abscisic acid. Here the last one, that is number 4, the abscisic acid, formed in the leaves and diffused to the different parts of the plant. What are their important function? It is mentioned here. It is a growth inhibitor, the main function, the growth inhibitor, promotes dormancy in seeds and buds, promotes closing of stomata, wilting and falling of leaves. It also causes detachment of flowers and fruits from the plant body. So this is the last phytohormones which has discussed here. Now after this we will move in the next part of the video or next class. We will move towards the movement in plants, how there are responses in the plant, and that responses in the form of movement, and that movement is also the growth dependent or growth independent. That is a some important facts and very interesting to know. In the next part of the class we will study all those things.